Hi, I'm Jennifer Kendall, the founder of Acuity Pack. I support women entrepreneurs in understanding and transforming their relationship with money, while also mastering the systems and processes to manage it with confidence. I combine deep mindset work with practical money tools so that you can move out of fear, step into clarity, and build a future that feels supportive and sustainable. Whether you're watching from your desk or taking a quiet pause in your busy day, I'm really glad that you're here. In today's video, we're going to explore how simple financial systems can replace stress with clarity and help you lead your business with calm, confidence, and grounded decision-making. And more specifically, how those systems can shift you out of financial reactivity and into a place of self-trust and steady leadership. My hope is that this conversation helps you see your money choices with more compassion and feel more grounded and trusting in yourself as you move forward. Let's dive in. You know that feeling when your stomach tightens a little, especially when someone says, "Let's talk about your numbers." Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. There's this moment where everything in the body just braces. And suddenly, opening your bank account feels like walking into something you're not quite ready for. If you've ever felt this way, I just want you to pause because you're not alone. And more importantly, there is nothing wrong with you. You are not bad with money, you are not irresponsible, and you're not a numbers person. What is actually happening is that you've been trying to lead your business without the support you really need. And of course, that can feel heavy because when there isn't structure around your money, your nervous system has nothing to lean on. So everything feels uncertain, reactive, and a little bit on edge. What I see so often is this quiet pattern of avoidance. And it's avoidance not because you don't care, but because looking doesn't feel safe yet. Avoidance sounds like, "I'll check it next week," or "I think things are okay." But underneath that, there's a hum of uncertainty. Maybe you're guessing what you can afford to pay yourself. Maybe you're avoiding to pay yourself entirely because you're just not sure. Maybe certain decisions feel harder than they should because you don't know what you don't know. Maybe you notice yourself saying yes to things just to stay on the safe side, or say no for the same reason. But you say these things and you do these things not because they're aligned, but because you don't quite feel anchored. And over time, all of this starts to impact your confidence. Obviously, not in a loud way, but in very subtle, wearing kind of ways. So let me ask you this. What would it feel like if you didn't have to guess? What would it feel like to open your numbers and feel steady and instead of tense? Because that's really what I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about perfection. I'm not talking about control, just steadiness. And this is where we start to shift how we think about systems. Because somewhere along the way, systems started to feel rigid or restrictive. But the truth is, the right systems, they don't box you in, they hold you, they give you something to come back to. I often think of systems like yoga pose. The structure isn't there to limit you, it's what allows you to move with strength and balance. Your financial systems can do the exact same thing. They don't take away from your freedom, they create conditions for it. And when those systems are in place, something really settles, begins to change. You stop reacting and you start leading. You stop second guessing and you start deciding. You feel more grounded, more clear, and more like yourself. And you feel this way not because everything is perfect, but because you know where you stand. And the truth is, this doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, I don't want it to be complicated for you. This is not about building some elaborate system overnight. This is about creating small, consistent moments of connection with your money. Moments where you're simply willing to look, to notice, and to stay present while you do. If I had to give you some advice on 3 financial systems I think everyone needs as the CEO of your business, here's what they would be. The first one is a weekly money check-in. This creates clarity and awareness. I invite you to set 15 to 20 minutes aside once a week just to open your accounts, look at what's there, notice what's changed. But you do this without judgment. You do this without fixing. You do this without awareness, because that's where the clarity begins. The next is a cash flow snapshot. This gives you context and confidence. Now, you don't need anything complex. You just need visibility. What's coming in, what's going out, what's already committed. A simple spreadsheet or a template is enough. If you are using accounting software, it actually does a cash flow statement, although it won't give you your forecast. But there are lots of templates out there that can help you give context to all the decisions you're making. And the third is a dashboard. Think about this as providing leadership and direction. It's a way to anchor not all your numbers, but the few numbers that will matter the most to you. Maybe it's revenue targets or core expenses or your pay. Whatever it is for you, ensure that's on your dashboard. These numbers, they become your compass. So even when things feel busy or uncertain, you have something steady to come back to. When you begin to build even simple financial rhythms, you're not just organizing your numbers, you're creating emotional safety. You're reducing all that background noise that happens in your mind, and you're making decisions with more ease. You're giving yourself something steady to stand on. And from that place, that steady place, you get to lead differently, you get to choose differently, and you get to grow differently. So if you take anything from today's blog, let it be this. You don't need to do everything. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need somewhere to begin. A small moment each week where you come back to your relationship with money, and you come back in a way that feels supportive, not overwhelming. And maybe the question to sit with today isn't, how do I fix all of this? Maybe it's simply, what would help me feel a little more steady here? Because over time, those small little movements of clarity, they become confidence. And that confidence, that becomes freedom. So I'm going to leave you today with this. What if your financial systems could help you feel calm, clear, and confident as a CEO? Not because everything is perfect, but because you've created support that holds you steady. You don't need to control everything. You just need to come back to yourself, to your clarity, your confidence, and your ability to lead. And that's something you can build one small step at a time.